Everyone, at 6 o'clock, we're going to start. I'm going to call the meeting to order. If everyone could please have a seat. Mauricio, roll call, please.
Commissioner Vizcarra,
Here.
Commissioner Stuyvesant,
Here.
Commissioner Lama will be calling in, Vice Mayor Joseph,
Here.
Mayor Svechin.
Here.
We have a quorum, ma'am.
Great. Let's do the Pledge of Allegiance. Mr. Taylor, would you do the honor, please? Thank you. So tonight we're having a special meeting to discuss something that is in a lot of ways a formality, and the city attorney is going to go into detail about that. But for those that are watching or those that will be watching later, this is to have the first reading of the date for the special election to make changes to our charter. So first of all, I want to say thank you very much to the Charter Review Commission. Two of you are here for all your hard work. It's very much appreciated. I know you all spend a lot of time and effort. I want to thank Commissioner Vizcarra for all the work that you put in. It's not easy, and it's a lot of responsibility. So thank you for that. And I was going to say to the chair, happy birthday, but he's not here, so hopefully he'll hear later. All right, Mauricio.
Okay, item 3A is an ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Sunny Isles Beach, amending the city charter by amending section C 2.2B, Vice Mayor, by amending section C 2.3C, limitations on length of service, by amending section C 2.4, qualifications, by amending section C 2.5C, filling of vacancies, by amending section C 2.6, compensation, reimbursement for expenses, by amending section C 3.1, city manager, by amending section C 3.5, city clerk, by amending section C 3.6, city attorney, by amending section C 4.2, prohibitions, by amending section C 5.1I, commencement of terms, by amending section C 5.3, form of ballots, and by amending section C 7.4, charter revision, providing authorization to the city attorney and the city clerk to amend the city charter, providing for form of the ballot, providing for balloting and election procedures, providing for notice of special election, providing for copies of the proposed charter amendments to be available for public inspection, providing for effectiveness, providing for severability, providing for inclusion in the charter, providing for an effective date.
Thank you. And I'm going to ask the city attorney to please, for the record, explain the process and exactly what we're doing.
Yep. Thank you, Mayor. Mayor, Commissioners, it was my privilege to serve as counsel to the Charter Revision Commission. I think they did a really good job. They worked very hard, and I think they came up with some good changes that need to be made to the city charter. What you're doing today is you are merely, this is first reading of an ordinance that changes the charter in the event the referendum, each issue passes, and calling for this, not calling for the special election. We're going to do that by resolution on next Thursday. But setting forth the form of the ballot with the ballot questions on it and showing the public what changes are actually being made in the charter itself. The charter specifically provides that if the Charter Revision Commission determines that a charter revision is needed, it shall draft such amendments to this charter as it deems appropriate and submit the same to the City Commission. The City Commission shall, within time frame, submit them to the electors in accordance with the provisions of this section. So you as the City Commission really have no discretion to change anything that's here. These charter revision proposals will go to the voters and they'll make the decision whether they want to accept these proposals or not. So this is I hate to say perfunctory because it's absolutely necessary, but we can't sit here tonight and start amending what the Charter Revision Commission has done.
And again, for clarification, not only can we not, but we really, legally, we cannot. So the public can ask questions, and we can ask the two members of the commission if they're willing to expand on some of it for the sake of clarity and education, but nothing of this can be changed.
All right. It's my understanding that the city clerk has worked with the supervisor of elections. They've determined that May 23rd is going to be the date of the referendum election. And so between now and then, we can have lots of discourse about what's contained in here, what's good, what's not good. The public can certainly do that. You as individuals can do that. But I mentioned to the mayor earlier this evening that there's a statutory provision that prohibits the use of city funds to advocate on behalf or against any of these amendments. We can certainly use it for educational purposes. We can put explanations on the website if y'all want to do that. But you cannot use city funds to promote one ballot section or another. We can certainly encourage people to come out and vote. That's not an issue. You just can't take sides. Except for you as individual commissioners, you can, in fact, do that for any one or all of those provisions.
And again, for clarity, can you explain why we have the May 23rd date and why this isn't being done next year when we already have a scheduled election? Why are we adding an election? Is that something that we have a choice about?
No, the charter requires that it be no later than 30 or more than 60 days after submission of the proposed amendments. The city clerk has worked with the supervisor of elections. That's why we're on a really compressed time schedule here, because they blocked off June and July, so there could be no elections during those dates. And so they've worked with the city clerk to give us the 23rd of May.
Great, thank you. Is there any discussion on the commission? Any questions of the Charter Commission? Yes, of course.
First of all, I do want to thank the members of the community who participated in this process, because I'm very happy with the results. I think everyone worked very hard, and we have a pretty long list. There's still some wrinkles that we didn't get to, but that's fine. I think this is pretty comprehensive. Along the lines of what the city attorney was just saying, of the things that perhaps we can talk about or not talk about, is there's the number 2 and number 11 are related. And so I think it's important you either vote yes on both or you vote no on both. But if one passes and the other one doesn't, it would create a conflict. So maybe that's something we can promote as a city. We're not saying yes or no. We're just saying whatever it is, be consistent with both, because one doesn't make sense without the other. And that's with relation to the commencement and the length of our terms. But really, I just wanted to thank this group. They did a fantastic job and coming in on Friday night, and it was in a condensed, normally we might have a little bit more time, but because everything was, the days were blocked off and we were super condensed time, and I think you guys did a tremendous job. So thank you.
Mayor, if I can further explain, once we see the results of this referendum election, which ones pass and which ones don't, the city commission always has the authority by ordinance to make other proposals or revisions to the charter. So if one of those two passes and the other one doesn't, then you can decide if you want to put it back out there for them to repeal one of them or to add another one back in. So you have that opportunity, but we obviously can't do that now because we would not be able to have two readings before. It had to be published last Thursday, I believe, right? Last Wednesday, the title of this ordinance. We can't pass another ordinance to change any of these or to
Or add.
or add or subtract
May
from
I ask-
these because of the time frames involved, but we would not be able to do it during the same special election.
So if I may, so I understand we can't add or subtract, but can we move it around? Can we put number 2 and number 11 consecutively so that the voter can, is the number of the item part of the title?
No, I don't know. The city clerk maybe can tell us if we can work with the supervisor of elections on the printing of the ballot. I mean, it's not going to change any of the wording. We're just going to change where
The
that.
elections-
Orders, yeah.
But Mayor, if I may,
But we
I don't
can't,
even
we
know
can't
if
put any
people
more
think it's a good
explanation.
idea. I mean, I think it is, but maybe if.
Yeah,
if
we
the
can't put any
commission
more
thinks-
explanation in, though. You know, we can't say, if you vote for one, you got to vote
No,
for two.
I know, that would be on us to make sure that people
No.
understand that going into it.
No, what I'm saying is that
I
I
understand what
think,
you're saying.
I think between first and second, it's not going to change the title.
Yeah.
I think we can rearrange the proposals.
the elections department will print it in the order that we send it to them. So the number's not necessarily part of the title, but if we send them in the format and in the order that we want it to, that's how they'll print it on the ballot.
All right, so before the next reading, let's just get clarification, unless there's any objection from the commission.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then the commission can look at, you guys look at number 2 and number 11 and see if it makes sense to put them together. I think it does, but, I mean, it's why it's up for
So
discussion,
can, so just so that I understand, why didn't you all do that beforehand? It's just run out of time?
It's done in the order that it appears in the charter. That's the
Right.
way that it's presented here.
Okay,
But so that's fine, I guess that's the way it's normally done. But because the 2 items are related, because it's in terms of length of terms, they're in separate areas of the charter. If you're looking at it, I'm putting myself in the shoes of the voter, you know, and you see this language, and it's very similar to the other language, and it might be confusing. You're like, oh, but didn't I just look at this? I feel it would be helpful to have them back to back.
no, I understand, and I agree with you. I just meant if that's possible, you know, we probably would have been better to do it beforehand, but if we still have an opportunity to do that, then we should. Okay,
Yeah, the city clerk and I, you know, can contact the supervisor and see. I think from a legal perspective, since we're not changing the title between the two, we're just rearranging paragraphs.
Right.
That's probably not a problem, but give me a few minutes to think about it.
okay, sure. Do we have any public speakers?
No, ma'am.
Okay, then I'll take a motion.
So moved.
Second?
Second?
Commissioner Viscara,
Here, yes.
Commissioner Stuyvesant,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Joseph,
Yes.
Commissioner Lama,
Yes,
Mayor Svechen.
Yes,
The ordinance passes on first reading. Second reading will be scheduled for March 16th.
great, thank you, at a regular commission meeting. Okay, so the next item, we just have a discussion item. Vice Mayor wanted to put a video up, I believe. If you want to talk a little bit about your item?
Yes, it turns out that during construction, especially in Golden Shores, we have developers are laying down gravel, as we see here. This is an abbreviated video because the addresses, it was requested of me that the addresses not be shown. But I had spoken to one contractor today who had given me permission to show his property. If you could go further, is it possible?
Yes, give me 1 second. Vanessa, could you play the video that's on the slide? On this one?
On this particular house, 18950 North Bay Road, I've spoken with the contractor. Where you see gravel right now, this is going to be all green. He acknowledges that this gravel needs to come out with 2 feet of clean fill, the same as he has in this forward area. Well, if we were to you can see
video
that
forward,
there's
you would see the area
2
where he
feet,
has the clean fill.
at least 2 feet of
But
clean
obviously,
fill
it's not moving.
where there will be a green space. You can't advance the video?
There's something wrong with it. Vice Mayor, I apologize. But we can cycle through the other pictures if you'd like.
Well, let's see what we can do.
Vanessa, could you try one more time?
On this particular house, 18950 North Bay Road, I've spoken with the contractor. Where you see gravel right now, this is going to be all green. He
I don't
acknowledges
think it's
that this
working.
gravel
It's
needs
not
to...
working.
Yeah, so let's
Okay.
see if we can fix it, but in the meantime, would you like to just go
Okay,
a little bit detailed?
So, a cause of our flooding, a lot of our flooding in Golden Shores and throughout the city is when original construction is done, contractors lay down this gravel as you see, they never remove it, and they put sod and foliage right on top of it, which allows for, when it rains, rather than sinking into the ground, the water just runs off into our sewers, overwhelming our sewer system. The idea of this ordinance would be to cause contractors to remove that gravel and replace it with 2 feet of clean fill to allow the rainwater to seep into the ground and not overwhelm our sewer system. Clay?
Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Commissioners. Yes, I think we could go even a little bit further. We could make all construction plans have a statement on them that condition would be met, and make that part of the statement of the plan.
Yes, thank you. That would really go a long way in causing us to not have to put hundreds of thousands of dollars into our sewer systems. Our land would aid in the absorption of the water.
Yes, yes, I agree.
So I have a question. When you say the sewer systems, what exactly are we talking about? Where is this, how would this differ? And then what kind of cost would this be potentially? I know you can't give me an exact number to an individual home builder or homeowner versus how much we would have to, like the Vice Mayor said, invest.
Well, in areas where they bring in compacted gravel or soil, or to allow for equipment to go on the property to do, piling and other functions while the property is being built. When they bring in that soil, a statement that the compacted soil or gravel, whatever they use, must be removed, and permeable soil must be put back on the property.
Okay.
Because right now what they're doing is...
We have to speak on the.
It's the way the contractors now are leaving their ground. It's the gravel is compacted. It's no different than concrete, and the water is hitting and just running off into the street.
Okay.
If that condition
Oh,
were
here
to
we go.
remain,
Okay. Uh-huh.
it would be not a what we call permeable soil for drainage.
Okay, so that's not a driveway. That is where you would just have landscaping.
That's so when they're building the house on that property, they don't just drive into mud or
Right, no, I
sand.
understand why they do it. I meant what happens to that afterwards.
That needs to be removed and
Okay.
and either have
Or not.
their driveway or grass.
Got it. Okay. Is there any, Commissioner Viscara, do you have a question?
Just clarification, we're talking about the stormwater drainage, right, not sewer, the sewage is separate.
Sewage is separate.
Yes.
This is stormwater drainage, and it's already in all the codes, the Dade County codes and Durham codes, that when you're designing a new property, you must put swales in the property and the side yards and that it's permeable soil, not compacted soil. In addition, what I'm saying is we can do is make there be a statement on the plans that any of this compaction for the use of equipment or temporary parking must be removed and the soil replaced.
Commissioner Stevens?
Yeah, I have a question. Do we need an ordinance for this? Can it be a comment in a plan review when they submit the plans to the city? And then you have the authority to deny zoning, plumbing, each of them. So can it be one of the zoning requirements instead of making an ordinance and it goes case by case when they submit the plans? And of course, for us to
Yes.
go, then when the inspector goes to every inspection that they go, they are, especially the final one, they will see if they comply or not, and to be able to pass inspection.
Yes.
So I don't know if necessary to make a review, an ordinance, can it just be a comment that we put in every one of those projects for that? Remember that we only have like 2 areas here where that case can happen. It will be Atlantic Isle and Golden Shores.
No, that's not true,
Which other one?
because any high-rise also,
Vice
any
Mayor,
green area,
Get closer to them.
any green area.
Precisely, but to do any job, they have to go through our building department and submit a permit,
Yes.
a whole application, that's what I'm saying. Zoning can do it unless it is required to be an ordinance, which I don't know, that's why I'm asking the question.
So if I understand what you're asking, and I think I agree with you, because we don't want to create additional ordinances if this could be solved in an easier way, because as we've spoken before, putting things on the books that are either unenforceable or create any sort of undue burden on staff makes it very challenging. So how else could we solve for this? Because this is a problem, so what could we do?
I think, Mayor, as the building director indicated, a stamp that we have on plans, and we could have our building inspectors enforce that would work.
Okay.
I believe that there are ordinances in place through the county, through Durham, that are already in place, that I can do some more research on that for you. I'd be glad to do that. And I'll get with Rick Lubinsky, and between the two of us, we can research the ordinances that are out there. In this case, I believe the stamp on the plan would be sufficient. And
Okay, now let
something
me
that we
just
can
ask-
Wait,
inspect.
one second, let him finish. Go ahead.
We'll do some more research to make sure that the ordinances are already in place and go from there, but we'll go forward with the stamp.
Okay,
Okay, so the stamp, do you think would be sufficient? Because are there ordinances, when you check to see maybe there are ordinances that are not being enforced?
I will give you, I'll do some research and I'll give you all the ordinances that are in place.
Okay,
And we would make the architect or the design engineer and architect put that stamp, that statement on the plan itself. It's not a stamp that we would stamp. It's a statement we would make the architect or engineer put on the plans.
okay, great, thank you.
okay. And just one more thing, please.
Go ahead.
That wouldn't be case by case, that would be for every property under
New
construction, correct?
Yes, yes, sir.
Yes, okay,
Okay,
thank you.
thank you. This is a discussion item, but did you want to, you have to sign up to speak, please. Do you, just you could do it quickly.
Harry Steiger, 262 Atlantic Isle. After building a few projects in Dade County, Broward County, and Palm Beach, it's mandatory the water from the property cannot go on the street. You got to have a drainage that goes into, it's like a French drain that you have to do around the property. Otherwise, you don't get a permit. Not from Dade County, not from the city.
Okay.
Let me just say, Ari, then you haven't driven around during a rainstorm when you see the water just running right off the properties. If you take any type of pointed object and put it onto anyone's lawn, you'll see how it just does not go into the ground, that
But
there's
it's not gonna go,
compacted.
you have to have a French drain. A French drain is.
No.
it's
No,
pipe
we're
perforated.
not, this is
This-
not, we're not debating. This is a discussion item. I'm allowing him to give his
I
comments, but
understand.
we're not,
You
everything's
have a
directed.
perforated pipe
All
that
right.
goes into a
All
hole
right,
with
di-
rubber.
direct,
That's a different-
direct your, stop,
that's a different
direct your
issue.
comments to me, please.
Okay. If you apply for a permit, you have to go to Durham in Dade County. Durham will not allow you to get any water from the property going to the street. So you have to have a French drain, which is a hole with a structure on it and a perforated pipe around the property, and the water comes from there and goes into the aquifer. That's
Great.
the way. Otherwise,
Oh.
you don't get a permit.
Thank you. If you don't mind, just so that we have it for the record, if you can just fill out a form and give it to the city clerk, I'd appreciate it. Okay, Commissioner Stuyvesant, go
Okay,
ahead.
my last comment, at the end of the day, is about enforcement. So that's the key here. So if the rules are in place, either in the county level, on the city level, what we need to make sure is that we are enforcing those rules and regulations. And then I think, like Ari says, probably everything is written already, so let's make sure that we are enforcing.
Right, I agree. I think we have agreement from the commission. Did you want to add something else?
Yes,
Vice-
and
Go ahead.
just as a last item, and Clay can verify, French drain does not address the issue of the gravel remaining on the property, correct?
Okay.
This is an absorption issue. In any waterfront cities, anywhere, even not waterfront, any city, you need to have your green area be absorption in order to alleviate flooding. If you're making it like concrete underneath the green area, you're only causing more flooding.
Thank you. And I think we're all in agreement. We agree. We want it to be enforced, and if it's already on the books, which it sounds like it is, if we can just get that information before the next meeting so that we know for certain that it is already something that we have that we don't need to add, because really over-regulation is something that we don't want. I don't think anyone here wants, especially if it's not
If it can be done
enforceable.
without ordinance,
Sure.
I agree.
Okay. All right. So, Commissioner Viscar, anything else? No?
That's- Only
Okay.
comment is, I mean, if everything's already there, but if it helps to put it on the checklist, it's basically what you're saying, right? Like, you have a checklist and add it to the checklist, that's gonna help us with the enforcement. That sounds like the answer to me.
Okay. Great. Thank you. So with that, do we have, Mauricio, since it's a special meeting, do we have any citizens forum?
There's no citizens forum.
Okay,
for
so I'll
special
take a
meetings.
motion to adjourn.
Second.
Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone.